Check one, two. Check one, two. Hey, sorry, the Procaster control bar just like disappeared. So I had to close and start the stream back up real quick. Check one, two. Hello, everyone. Check. Mic check. Singular mic check. Singular mic check. Let me turn up my volume. Check one, two. One more check. One more check for the champions. Thank you for joining. My name is Miguel Coronado. I guess I can't close the control bar because otherwise it's going to disappear again. My game is illustration, but my name is Miguel Coronado. I'm an illustrator living in Austin, Texas. If you haven't joined me in a while, I'm proud to announce I'm a professional illustrator, freelance, working in game publishing. Like game cards, RPG books. That's currently what I do. I'm gonna get my buddy Carlton on and Pablo Rivera, and we're all gonna discuss Spectrum Fantastic Art live on this live stream. But if you're joining me just now, you're gonna have to bear with me as I get all the audio situated. So just like I said, bear with me. If the stream stops and comes back on, it's just because I lost the control bar or something. Because Procaster is dumb now; it doesn't work the way it used to. So let's see if I can't get Carlton and Pablo on to Skype and give us like a quick technical moment. Let's see, quick technical moment. Let's do it like that. Okay. Alright. If only I can. Here we go. None of my mini bars are opening. It's cool. There we go. What am I doing right now? I am just trying to not type anything. Trying to get out of my text mode. There we go. Obviously it's going to do that too. So like I said before, just bear with me real quick while I get all this situated. I haven't done a Skype call. And you're going to see everything because I don't have a second screen. So, let's find Skype. Let's do the phone call thing. Hey everyone, you see my Skype conversation. Pablo said he's on it. Give him Skype. Let's call Carlton real quick. Pablo will join us shortly. He's doing stuff. Hello. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Let me, well, you sound really different on here.
Sound very nice.
I'm going to turn on speaker audio so you talk.
Hello everybody.
Right, try it now.
Cool.
There we go.
Testing again. Alright. Looks like it's not in the red.
Check. Talk one more time.
Checkity check. Checkity
Okay.
check, y'all.
Alright, so, and if anyone's monitoring the chat, just let us know if we're in the red. Skype doesn't show me online. Update Skype. Pablo. Update it. Until then, we'll just get Pablo on board. So, close this.
He's a young fella. A youngin'.
I got a bunch of ads on Facebook now. People are like, I met that guy. Or they just like, I like that clown avatar that you have.
That's a good compliment. I think mine is mostly like, I like your hair.
Oh, yeah.
Or how creepy my picture is. It looks like some kind of, because it's an actual picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just so you know, I'm like a huge, you probably know now, like I'm a huge like comedy radio fan. Like now that we shared a
road trip together.
Yeah, and we won't coin the phrase because someone else coined it, but I think we definitely had a bro trip.
Yeah.
And I think that was, yeah, that was really cool to.
You've got like a radio voice on right now. Just like to me, you sound like you're like doing a radio voice.
It's not even close. This is just my smoker's voice. If I start my radio's voice,
you sound like a guy that hosts a radio show.
I wish. Yeah. Well, if I had sound bites, I would play them. Like,
okay, gotcha.
You know, if I had, yeah, it would be freaking hilarious. Yeah, like, but I'm actually, a lot of my friends know me for like impersonations that I like to do. Like,
oh crap, we didn't venture that. We had to have a 20-hour trip to hear those. We only had a 10-hour.
Yeah, like Highway Hypnosis kicked in about that 10th hour, and I probably would have started talking like Chris Tucker from Fifth Element, or like an Asian version of Arnold Schwarzenegger, or
an Asian version,
or
specifically Asian.
Arnold Schwarzenegger talking like Christopher Walken, or just a lot of Arnold, basically. I think that's the only.
Just really just Arnold. Really just. In fact,
it gets me pretty far. So the
I'm adding what's his name to the call? Pablo.
Pablito.
Hello.
Pablo, what's up? Oh, that was really easy. I just clicked a button and you're done. You're on there.
The magic of technology.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Skype group call now is like free or something.
Yeah. Okay, so let me get my screen up, and I'm gonna work on stuff while we talk. So anyone just watching along, I'm just drawing stuff for work. So it has nothing to do with Spectrum Live. Well, other than the fact that, I mean, it has nothing to do with Spectrum. Yeah, it's art. It's art, and it's professional work. So, real quick, before we go, let's make a quick official thing. My name is Miguel Coronado. I'm an illustrator living in Austin, Texas. I work freelance, do like RPG art, game card art currently, and worked on some film projects. That was really loud typing. God. You can find my work.
Tickety-tackety, tick-tack, evil typing.
You can find my work online at www.mciii.net, and I'll let Pablo introduce himself. Go.
Okay, so yeah, I'm Pablo Rivera at the moment. I am a student at Park Boulevard Studios in San Diego, and I'm just wrapping up my first year. So yeah.
Cool. And then Carlton, go ahead and do your spiel.
I don't know what voice I should do it in. No, my name is Carlton Tomlin. I'm from Austin, Texas, and every now and then I might have a little drawl in my voice, but it just comes out naturally. We try to hide that here in Austin, but I'm a student at the Art Connection Academy, formerly known as TAD. I'm finishing up my last semester, and I also studied with the people at Park Boulevard Studios, wonderful people, Ron and Vanessa Lemon, and all of the other wonderful students there.
Yes.
So,
hold on. Is that you typing, Pablo?
Can you guys hear that?
Yeah, it's
like
pounding in my ears.
Sick typing, yeah. It's like what I would play if I was torturing someone, like on a loudspeaker, like because it sounds like a spider, like in your ear hole.
It's like a
That's
spider.
gnarly.
It's like a
Okay,
spider making bread.
Yeah.
all right, I will refrain from typing.
Anyway, sorry. I just was like, what is this noise?
But yeah, like I've had a couple of gigs here and there, so I'll also say I'm a professional illustrator and working on the networking aspect of everything. I worked for about 5 months for a small startup company here in Austin before I decided to bail on that because yeah, won't mention any names. A lot of my friends know where that's, that whole story. But yeah, it's going pretty well. So Spectrum Live 2014
All right.
chat.
So okay, let's get started then. So it was. I think everyone in here, it was their first time going to
Yes.
Spectrum.
Yeah.
So let me go ahead and ask, and we'll start like one at a time now. Let's start with like Pablo. Like, how many other workshops or conventions, industry related, have you gone to, and how? I guess what was your preconceived notion of Spectrum Live versus what you experienced?
I mean, before this, I'd only ever attended the Massive Black Workshop last December up in LA. And I mean, that was great, but it was more like, let's all sit down and attend like, these talks and learn as what we can from these professionals. And I mean, at least on my end, since it was my first workshop, there's still a very kind of like wow factor. And the instructors definitely felt like, you guys are the badass pros. I'm the little student and I'm going to try and keep my distance a bit. With Spectrum, though, that factor was completely gone. Everybody was just, on the floor. You could chat with anyone. It was very just, I mean, we're all artists. Let's all just have one big, like 3 day weekend party thing, sort of.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think that was maybe because you've already been to the MB workshop, or do you think that was just because of the way it was laid out?
I think a bit of both. I mean, it helped that I'd already been to the MB workshop, so I was kind of being able to, stop being so freaked out by being at these events, but also just the way it was laid out was very, I guess, it helped foster a lot of, just random conversations with people. It was very
Hmm.
just like, the best way I describe it is just friendly. It was like one of the friendliest atmospheres I'd ever seen in an event.
Yeah, it really was. The
Cool.
uh, the uh, the whole thing that I thought was really cool was um, not to repeat what Pablo said, but yeah, it was definitely more of a social. It was more of a social aspect of like there wasn't a lot of talking about art. Like there was a lot of talking about well, there were lots of dirty jokes and like just a lot of appreciation. And I mean there was like portfolio reviews and you could show your stuff to people. It just made it so much easier to approach people because everybody was really relaxed and they weren't there to perform. I think that might put a lot of people on um, like a maybe standoffish status. I think, and but I think that the fact that everybody was there to buy prints and build up their art collection and um, like hand out their cards and everything. Like it made it really easy to approach people, show your portfolio, get to the next booth or buy a print and talk about where people are going to be, what's their plans and stuff like that. Like I think it was really, really much different than the MB workshop I went to as well, because that's what I experienced. Pablo, when I went for the first time, like, and I was like in my first semester at TAD as well, but it was because it was a complete shocker. I was totally the same way. I was like starstruck, but there were a lot of long time career artists there that you just walked right up to them and they were completely normal, like eating a burrito or whatever they were trying to like slam down
Yeah. Try
for
to
the
stay
five
away from
seconds
them
they had.
when they're eating
Yeah.
burritos.
Yeah. I
Just
was
like give them
I
some peace. And,
yeah, I was like at one point I was like, oh no, don't mind me, I'm just gonna look at your prints. And he was like, okay, cool. And then he just started chowing down, like what
yeah.
well, like the thing he was eating. So I was just like, yeah, it's cool. So uh yeah, it was definitely a lot of fun and a lot different than what I expected in a good way.
Cool. Um, let's see here. So I guess on my end, um, I don't think I had any idea what to expect. I didn't do any research on the event in the
Yeah.
least. I planned on it, but then I just didn't do any of that, and I didn't even plan on going until about 2 weeks before, week and a half before, when I was over. Carlton and I were
Hmm.
at a birthday party, and I was actually telling him like, it sucks, we're gonna miss it, and he was like, "Well, I'm not. I'm driving over there." So, at that moment, I was like, "I'll go with you," and me too.
Yep.
And he was. I think the selling moment too is it was only $40 for the 3-day pass, and it's like ridiculously affordable.
Hmm.
In terms of the pass itself, I know Massive Black was $250 when I went, but that was pretty affordable because Carlton
Oh
paid
wow.
like you paid like a lot more, right? When
It was like 550
yeah,
bucks, but I think I got like I wanted to be like a super special guest. Like I wanted a T-shirt and to get in early, and like it was. I
okay,
think it was a little different than
yeah,
to I don't know. Like yeah.
yeah. It was like 250, and there was no other option. It's just like 250, and that's it. Just you come for 250, and of course you have to fly to LA and
Yeah.
figure out all that stuff, but it was pretty nice deal. And Pablo, so like LA was your first workshop. That was my first workshop. Um, did you have any like preconceived notion in that workshop and kind of like going into it? Did you kind of really plan on going? Were you recommended to go by your teachers or?
I mean,
He just jumped on the back of the van to LA. Just
hey, I
last
was the
second.
driver. I was the
Oh
driver
yeah,
for the trip here. I don't.
uh,
But yeah, I mean, I heard that it was happening, and I was kind of just, starting to ask people like, should I go to this? Is it cool? I mean, what should I expect? Is it too early? That was one big point that I wasn't sure about. Like, is it too early for me? Because
yeah,
at that point, I'd only been a student for maybe close to 4 or 5 months, maybe less. And yeah, and I was just like, I mean, I won't really have much of a portfolio to show. I mean, is it worth for me to go? But some of the guys at the studio had been to previous events, and they said, yeah, don't even worry about it. It's going to be awesome, and like,
yeah.
just go. I think
They're
partly they wanted to ride, so that might have
yeah,
been it too.
yeah, yeah. You should go. You have the van, right?
Yeah, exactly.
They're just like, no, it's not cool, but you should go.
yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
not you. Yeah, like no, I think I'm definitely getting a van. That's like my one goal in life right now. I have to just do enough freelancing so I can get like a Honda Odyssey or like just like drive a couch with 7 other people to some kind of event, and it was just that's uh that's a lot of fun to go with friends, I think.
Yeah, it's a lot different from the airport because the airport's a lot more like just pure stress
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
your
Everyone's just
friends.
miserable.
Yeah, everyone's like, I hate the airport. Hate the
Yeah.
airport. And I hate being in a tube in the air where the only possible outcome could be landing or something terrible happens.
Yeah. Um or like 4 hours of breathing the same recycled air as 250 people. Like that was always my
Yeah,
like I felt gross after getting off a plane. And it sucks being a big guy on planes, so it was fun to drive to this thing, like be in control and have a car while you're there and stuff like that. I definitely recommend it.
Yeah, but I guess just one point I wanted to make, about Massive Black and everything, like, it really did bug me. Like, is it too early for me to go as a student or whatnot? But in the end, I'm
Mm.
glad I did go because, yeah, I didn't really have any, work to show the pros aside from, student stuff. But it was still nice to be there, to see all my idols and see them, do their thing. It was cool. It was very eye opening, I guess.
so, did you going into Spectrum Fantastic Art Live? Like, I know that when I went to the Massive Black workshop, I did a bunch of research and I talked to Carl. I had a meeting with Carlton because he had gone to the one in San Francisco, and I was just like, "What should I do? What should I not do? What's it like? Just tell me everything you can." And I watched all the little like those little preview vids, those recap vids they make each year, where it has like the little techno music, and they're like, "This is Massive Black's workshop," and like they talk about everything. So I watched all those, but I kind of went in with some goals to that workshop, and the same with Spectrum Art Live. And I think one of the goals was like my main goal is normally just hang out with certain people and just to have fun. But like I've minimized my goals in terms of like portfolio review and it's much more just talk.
Yeah.
Like Pablo, did you like for Spectrum? Fantastic Are Alive. God damn it. Okay, for SFAL.
Sfal.
Sval.
Yeah.
Sfal.
Svali. Sval?
Did y'all? I guess both
Sphalis.
y'all. What did y'all have in mind, like going in? Like I know Carlton, you knew lots of people that were going to be going too, so it's like
Mhm.
catch up time.
Yeah, I think for me it was it's kind of, well, I don't think I acted any differently, but I think the mentality that I set for myself is that I'm not going to act the way I act, uh, if I'm just going to meet a bunch of brand new people. I'm going to act like I know everybody and have all the confidence in the world. I'm going to pretend I have no fear and just act like a completely different person to be able to go up and talk to
Yeah.
everyone I wanted to talk to, because you're not going to drive 10 hours or 12 hours uh, like to just go up and and watch someone draw and paint. Like you can buy you can save a crap ton of money like just watching it on a Gnome on DVD or something. Like just uh I wasn't going to bug people about technique, and I knew that uh it's kind of this opportunity to really like um get your courage on, and just go and hang out. And you can't be you have to be organized and extremely social. I mean, every time people go out, like that's an opportunity to sit down and buy them a beer if you want to, or just start up a conversation and ask them questions about themselves. I mean, I think most artists are a little narcissistic. I think that's just in our nature, and most of us want to talk about ourselves. So, not all of them. Some people want to have nobody know who the hell they are when they make stuff, but and have like private portfolios with passwords and stuff like that. But like, I think this was like what I told Miguel for MB was like go to every single social thing. Make friends really quick if you don't know anybody. Just ask them where they studied, what they did, what they work on now, and you got someone that you now have a head nod status with. Like you can just you see them around, you're like, hey, how's it going? Hey, where's everybody at? And you can just sort of uh, play it cool. As hard as that is for me to do, and I think that's the best way to go about these things. I like Miguel said, I barely talked about art or technique or drawing at all. Um, for me, it was way more spiritual. Like it was something that Miguel touched on. Like it demystified. Like you're getting to look behind the curtain at these people and who they are and how they behave, and it's like they don't all. There's a few that behave like kind of walk with a swagger, but like the other ones are just like trying to find a burger, like they're
Yeah.
just trying to.
Like, where'd you eat lunch at? Oh, they have a taco place.
Yeah,
I want to go there.
it's like, yeah, where's everybody going to eat? Down,
Yeah.
like that's usually what they want to know because they've been too busy like meeting people and signing stuff, and if you know that information, and it's really easy to have a crew. Like at one point, I had like 5 people talking to me, and I realized all of a sudden they were talking to me because they were interested in what I was doing, and I was just like, what the hell is happening right now? Like, there were some like, where's everybody going and this and that, and I was just like, I guess I'm that guy now. Like,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure everybody's over here, and we're just gonna jump over there real quick, and you have to float.
Yeah.
I
You
mean,
gotta.
you have to be. Don't take your sketchbook and sit down and draw at like the meet and greet.
Yeah. That's
Like
for.
you're not there to fucking draw. Like take your stuff, sure, if you want to show people, and like there were a couple times where I drew when it was kind of dead, but just to pass the time.
But
And
those couple of times it did happen, it was like our feet were hurting from standing and walking and talking so long, and it was
yeah.
like, oh, like thank God, there's like
Remember,
a
you sit
moment.
down all day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, remember how we just sit at the desk and don't do any physical activity most of the day, and now we're just nonstop talking and standing and walking, and like, that when those little moments came where it was like, oh, I guess I'll sketch. It was like, oh, thank God, let me take a break and just let
Yeah.
me sketch real quick, and then like just do something that's not talking and like save my voice a bit. Um,
Pablo
but
probably didn't experience that because he's young.
Pablo, you don't
So.
understand what this is.
My body hasn't started breaking down yet.
No,
Breaking down. Yeah.
it's sat down and you're just like, it's like holy crap! Like I didn't realize the dogs are barking that much. Like my
Yeah.
feet.
You don't
Uh,
realize you're in pain until you are relieved of the pain. And it's like, oh, the
yeah,
world can
Yeah.
be better.
yeah.
For my
It was
feet.
pretty elated. Like you're pretty excited the whole time. I think. I mean, there was one point like I didn't even get uh uh time to think enough to like text my girlfriend back. It was just like, hey, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm still here. Uh, like,
Yeah.
and it's like we're walking right now because every time I turned a corner, it was like, what's everybody doing? Where's everybody at? And it
Yeah.
was,
You gotta just
and
float with the crowd and kind of anticipate
yeah,
it. Like everyone says they're gonna go to Alamo Draft House. Like, okay, let's go to Alamo Draft House. If everyone's gonna be
yeah.
there
Don't
later, let's get there
say,
early.
oh, I'm tired. I'm gonna just call it a night. At 6 p.m. when the show closes.
Yeah, no,
Like
that's
everybody stayed out till 3 a.m. every night. I mean, we're all reclusive artists finally meeting in this place with a bunch of uh, food and booze and comfortable big huge couches in the Aladdin Hotel, and it's an opportunity. Really, it's not something that you like. Yeah, I'm just gonna go to the show like for the first day or the second day, or we're gonna get going on some art here. This it's like no, like get your sleep, get your 6 hours in if you can get 6 hours, and stay up till 3 and listen to the stories that you get to listen to. Like I got to listen to one of my heroes, uh, uh, Paul Bonner, one time when he was talking to a group of people. He was saying how he listens to the paintings and he hears knuckles dragging or like metal clanking on all of these awesome creatures that he draws, and the little voices of the guys or the atmosphere. And I got to ask people questions, that I've wanted to ask for a long time about color and metaphor and mood and stuff like that. Um, I think that it was one of the coolest things was hearing. Uh, I know I'm not supposed to be name dropping, but like
no, no.
you get to talk to
When
Paul
that
Bonner,
yeah,
and you get to
that's different.
talk to
We
Justin Sweet, and you get to
yeah,
talk to Vance Kovacs like right there, like they're at the booth, like they're right, they were right in the front row of the convention,
yeah.
So
And then I messaged these guys about name dropping just in regards to like you don't
oh
need to
yeah, we
like
were
start.
kicking it with so and
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
and it's
That
like we
gets
never actually
You're
talked to
so
obnoxious.
them.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like yeah, there was a ton of industry names there. Like we got to. Well, I think we all got to speak to like Ian McKaig at one point. We
Hmm.
all talked to Justin and Vance Kovacs. Justin Sweet, Vance Kovacs, Paul Bonner. Um, I got to speak with Sean Murray. I'd heard him from the Crimson Daggers, Crimson Conversations like a couple years back.
Hmm.
So it was nice to finally meet him and see his work firsthand. And like there's it becomes a mundane situation after like day one where you're like, oh yeah, cool, there's Justice Sweet again, and then you're like, you already said hi to him that first day, and then like, you're there for 3 days like nonstop. So like,
Hmm.
you
And it's
start just at a certain point like, what do you talk about, or like, just
and you're
uh,
around a group of people where you can actually use first names. Like
yeah,
usually
yeah,
when you're talking in public, it's like, yeah, Justin Sweet. Oh yeah, he also is a concept artist for movies and games, and he is everybody really likes him. Like you don't have to do that here. It's just like, yeah,
yeah,
Justin's giving a talk in that room. We need to all go listen. Like that
yeah,
was like we all knew who we were talking about. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it was getting to talk to all those people after the shows. Like one of the really cool things that I learned from Vance Kovacs was, um, like he paints kind of how color tastes because he's a foodie, and he,
yeah,
you don't want to just eat McDonald's all the time because then you want to have you want to have a nice soup with just a drop of jalapeno in it or something, and
You don't want
you
to
know, you
eat
want to
McDonald's all the time because then you're not a foodie.
right, like you want to like, but sometimes you want McDonald's. Like sometimes you want that bright, like sappy, uh, if you feel bad, guilty pleasure
Those,
artwork. You
some of
know,
those dark
like
moments of
yeah, some
depression.
some of those dark moments, and then you want something for a more simple palette like sushi. You know, and then because we were talking about color saturation and color choices and counter change and color palettes and and I think that was something that Marshall Vandriff would teach at TAD is a metaphor for color and for mood. And I think that what I learned, because Marshall was very interested in this as well, um, was that for each person it might be different to use different metaphors. You know, like things that you're actually interested in, you know, like if you're a foodie, for example. But if you like ride horses, you know, it's like this picture is like riding a Clydesdale, this picture is like riding a Persian war horse or something, you know, like you use that metaphor, maybe something to that you're actually interested in. Like this is like shooting a Tech 9 and this is like shooting an assault rifle, you know, like I don't know, like I have no other hobbies since art became work, so
Yeah,
I'm
so
trying to
this is
develop
like painting
something.
something. This is like painting a different thing. This is
Yeah.
like paint. It's all painting. Yeah.
Yeah, like you give it that mood and that feel, and you can use it for color and contrast and composition and everything. So I think that was that was really cool to see, talk to these guys who, you know, and it demystifies that. I think that was one of the things that everybody kept repeating,
Yeah.
like oh, this is, it's not BS. Like we're not, like yeah, we're all friends at this thing and nobody knows who we are and nobody really cares. Like if you think about it, like, but we are the talent. We are like the radio voices, you know, for these companies, and we help produce all of these fantastic things that people enjoy, and it was really nice to see all the fans there. Like that, I thought that was so cool. I didn't even expect that. I thought it was going to be all artists. Like
Yeah.
I'm the
That.
only one I know that looks at Spectrum, you know,
That.
besides Miguel and everybody in San Diego.
Yeah. That's. I think that the big huge difference is like Massive Black Workshop is just it's a workshop for artists to learn more from other artists,
Hmm.
and this is completely. They have talks, right? But the talks are open to whoever bought the passes. So it could be
Hmm.
people there that are just a huge Narnia fan that wanted to see
Hmm.
Justin Sweet talk about centaurs, and
Hmm.
and there were guys there that were just there to get their magic cards signed by their favorite artists, and it was kind of, I think Carl and I were kind of like didn't know what to say at one point. These two guys were outside smoking, and we were like, "Oh yeah, y'all artists?" Like, "No, we're just fans." So it was just like, "Cool." like,
Yeah, it was like,
okay, I don't
hey,
know
It's
what
like
to talk
people
to you
know
about.
who. It's like people who aren't artists know about this stuff. Wow,
Yeah,
yeah,
cool.
yeah, that was the weird. Why was that weird? That was, yeah, like after 3 years of study, that becomes weird. It's like because you don't meet fans or you know,
it's like, what do you mean? You're just here to enjoy it?
like
like you're not
yeah,
here to make
how dare
connections.
you?
You don't draw? What's wrong with you?
Yeah, like how dare you enjoy this public display, you civilian?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
It's
so that's the biggest. I think it's open to fans of art, artists, and then of course it's a venue for artists to sell and basically make some extra income and also get work because there's art directors from different companies there that are looking for new people. They want to find new people there, and the art directors that are there, like, they're kind of funny because they all kind of hang out with each other. They all know each other, and you kind of just you'll notice it when you get there, like that the way Carlton and I and some of the TAD people may have been saying, "Hey, we know each other. We kind of stick close to this one group." And it's the same with everyone.
hmm
There's like a core group everyone hangs with, and from there they go talk to other people. And if you've never done any
yeah,
kind of event like this, it's most unless you're really used to doing this kind of stuff, it can be intimidating or weird. But it's just all about you know finding yourself
yeah,
in a place where you just got to go up to people and say, "Hi, I'm this. I'm an illustrator. I'm a concept artist." Or there was less concept artists this time. This is definitely an illustrator's place in terms of
Yeah.
the main focus. But then the creative director for ILM was there, and so so there was a place
And there was a
for
concept art section. I didn't know that
yeah.
they had a concept art section. I didn't
Yeah, there is a
know
word for
that.
concept art. Yeah, and lots of the illustrators double up as concept artists. But if you're just really trying to focus on illustration, this is like a must-go-to event, without a doubt.
Absolutely.
Let's see here. So let's hear um, Pablo.
What's up?
Like, who did you meet? I mean, who did you get to talk to? That you like when you walked in, who did you see, and you were just like, oh crap, I want to meet this person. Did you have that moment, or were you just totally completely awesome and just didn't care? You're like, I've seen.
I mean, that was totally with
Seen
Justin
them.
Sweet and Vance Kovacs, because like you said, their
Okay.
booth was one of the first ones you saw, and I walked in, saw the booth, I'm like, oh shit, and I just kept on walking
Yeah.
past. I'm like, I'll talk
Yep.
to them later. Let me just warm up first with some other
Yeah.
people.
I think it's funny too. I think all of us. I know Carlton and I kind of did this for we. I think we were playing it pretty cool. Like, oh, nice to meet you. Oh, Justin Sweet. Okay, cool. So you paint, and then
Yeah.
then we'd
Like,
go out and be
so what
like,
is this stuff? Yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
Then we go out and be
What
like,
have you worked
oh,
on?
like crap. We just spoke to Justin Sweet in person. Crazy.
Yeah.
We're between the two of us. We were kind of having our little
Yeah,
moments where we're like,
yeah,
oh,
we
this is
played
awesome.
fanboy in the corner, but then
Yeah.
it was like once you were up there, it was like,
That's it.
yeah, it wasn't like you're in the zone and you kind of just if you realize that you start like you're sweating and your forehead looks all red, like you probably need to back away for a second, like all right, I'll catch you later at the thing or something,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
That was my
like
catchphrase. Like, I'll see you later. I'll see you later on.
Yeah. I mean, what was funny for me is that with a lot of the guys, I only knew their names. I didn't know their faces. So I
Oh
know at
yeah.
one point I was coming back from the hotel and I had a conversation at
oh
length in the elevator with someone. And then, I asked him afterwards, like, oh, because I saw you put on the Spectrum badge. Are you here for Spectrum? He's like, yeah. And I saw his name and he was one of my, big heroes growing up from Weta Workshop. I'm like, oh,
Oh, is
cool.
it who? It was that one guy, right? What's his
Yeah,
name?
Paul Tobin.
Paul Tobin. Yeah, he was I
oh
think he's the only
sweet.
guy there from Weta. But
Yeah, no, so
yeah.
that was really cool. And it's just like, I'm like, oh, dude, you're one of my heroes. He's like, oh, cool. And he seemed kind of like, I don't know, embarrassed by it. Like with a lot of these guys, they're very humble and they don't really like to be like, oh, you're so amazing in art. They're like, I
Yeah.
guess.
Okay, so this is something we talked about, Carlton and I, over and over again. I think with every artist, how there's a level of success that everyone has, and everyone's level of success changes. And so by the time you are
Constantly.
successful, you are it. By the time you're successful in this industry, it's basically just like saying you have a regular job. So to be successful in the industry is kind of mundane because your job is to draw. So if you are drawing for a living, you're supposed to draw things that people enjoy because that's the whole point of being hired to draw something. And you kind of forget that part of the job is the fact that you have to draw things that will attract people. And then later on, when it comes back to you, and you find out there's people that are fans of your work, you end up getting into this weird oh, I'm just doing my job, kind of thing. And
Right. Like
I'm glad you enjoy it, but
because I think most of the time, everybody's working on stuff that you have a drafting skill basically. Like
Yeah.
you have a skill to draw something in 3D from any angle, and it's people or creatures or beautiful scenes or storyboarding, and not everybody's always getting to work on their own independent projects or independent properties. Like usually everybody's working for other people, and then when people are really excited about something that they're making and other people are excited about it, that's when people would really start thinking like, okay, I'm doing what I want to do. And that's what I think and I hope a lot of people take away is that first time they're asked, well, when you show someone your portfolio, well, what is it you want to do? And it's yeah, and no one ever asked me that before, I hadn't been asked that till 2011 at the MP workshop, and I was like, I have no idea. Like, I just wanted to learn a skill. Like, I realized that it goes so much further, and it's like, there's niche markets, and there's specialties, and there's like I just wanted to learn how to draw and paint, and maybe do like book covers or something. And I always thought I was gonna have a job at Starbucks, but like there's so much that you can learn to broaden your horizons. And then there's everybody says get your specialty, but then keep learning.
Yeah.
And like that's something that I thought was really cool to see, especially Ian McKeag, like who got the Grandmaster Award.
Yeah. That was pretty crazy.
Yeah. What did
that
you
was,
think about the award show?
me or
Mm-hmm.
I guess both of us. So me, I knew they were having it, and I feel like with lots of, I kind of almost felt in a way, not until I went there, like just hearing about it, I kind of feel skeptical because I know how most artists are when in like the way they talk
Mm-hmm.
and to communicate to each other, and most like illustrators don't take what we do too seriously, like as we're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And going in, I just remember like my girlfriend's at a graduation, so I remember thinking like, oh, it's another ceremony, but like I didn't really put it together until I was there. That it's like it's basically like the Academy Awards for illustration,
Mm-hmm.
because everyone goes up there and they accept the award and they make their speech, and it's not exactly like the men aren't wearing tuxes, and like lots of the women are wearing dresses, which is it's just like a fundamental difference of like the guys and the
Yeah, that made
the
me feel really
girls.
underdressed.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, but then it was like like Justin Sweet didn't have a shirt tucked in, just had a dress shirt on. It wasn't
Yeah.
like
Jeans. Yeah.
yeah.
Just,
So like it's at first going in, I kind of felt almost skeptical, like ha ha ha, yeah, this is a cool award, and you get lots of like exposure and what do you call it, like exposure and opportunities come up from winning those awards. But then when I was in the moment, it suddenly hit me that like no, this is like the industry I want to be in.
yeah.
Showing like showing their appreciation for the work that these people have done, and like I think Carlton and I both had like a very like strong moment when they're just going through, just reminding everyone that the work that you make as an artist is the same work that you saw when you walked out of the movies and said, I want to do that when I grow up. Like you're making that work now for some other kid, and you don't realize it. Like if you work on
Yeah.
any RPG or any card game right now and you get the work published, 10 years down the line, there's going to be some guy that's going to come up to you and say, I saw your artwork when I was little, and I wanted to become an illustrator because of you. Or I wanted to become a director because of you. And you're not going
Yeah.
to think anything, like right now I'm doing some work for an RPG company.
They're like that thing I got paid $100 for that
Yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't even
like,
get to spend on myself because I have
yeah.
bills. Yeah.
So I was like, you
Right.
don't realize it now, like how it's going to affect somebody. But then later on, like when you are like the guy that does, like I'm sure like when the Magic guys that first started doing Magic cards back when it first came out, were kind of like, oh, I mean, this is cool, and then like now it's a huge deal, and like there's people that played Magic that became illustrators because they played Magic. At least I wanted to do the Magic that was on the Magic cards. I mean, the art that was on the Magic cards. I guess it was
Yeah. You.
kind of magic in a way.
Yeah, I
You
want to do
totally
the
forget
magic.
about the fans. Yeah.
And, so
And the
like
up and comers.
that, I mean, like that to me was like a big moment to hear them say. I think specifically they're saying like the kid that walks out of the movie and looks at his parents and says, "That's what I want to do for a living." Like, because I had that exact moment walking out
Yeah.
of a movie with my parents in seventh grade, because I had drawn all my life, and then at the time, I came out of this. I don't know what film it was now, but I came out of that film and told my parents like, I want to be a director, and it changed over time. It was I want to be an animator. And then I want to do, and so now it's come full circle. So I want to be an illustrator, and I am working in some film projects, and I am doing this stuff that's going to get out there now. And but like I said, like you don't realize it once you actually start doing it, because now I got to do it because I got to make money because I have to live, and so like
Mm-hmm.
it's not as big a deal as when you first start doing it. And
Yeah.
like then Pablo too is when you were talking with me at the workshop, you were like asking me about some feedback for your sketchbook or something, and I was like, I've only been doing this for 2 years. I just got my
Yeah. I
first
felt
big
the same
job.
way. I was like, you don't want to know what I have to say. I'm
Like,
I'm
but
broke as shit.
you know,
Like,
yeah, like, you're like this is no, we're not like quite there yet. But then I saw in Carlton, I was like, but Pablo seeing us as like working professionals, but then we're seeing guys like Justin Sweet and well, them too. They've been doing it for years and years. Like Paul Bonner's been 20 years in the industry. Like I was
yeah,
telling Carlton, like he just comes to these events because it's just part of his job now. Like he has to come to these
hmm
events to sell prints, to meet the people, because that's part of what it is to be an illustrator. You do that, and like
yeah.
to
I mean,
him,
you
he's
go
been doing
there
it all
and
the time. Like you know,
yeah, you can go like a lot of the people who we went with, and yeah, here's where I won't name drop, but like a lot of the people that we went with, and a lot of the people that we met, like they were going there like because they needed jobs, and they got them. Like they
yeah,
could leave there with like 5, 10, like 20 jobs that you can get lined up because they're all friends and they know each other, and if they haven't seen each other in a while, it's like, hey, how you been? And it's still the same. It doesn't change. Like, it seems like a really, they called it a family at the award show. Um, um, there's another point I wanted to make, but like, yeah, the award show was extremely emotional. Um,
yeah.
uh,
I think that that's a big understatement for both of us, at least. I know
yeah,
Carlton and I are in kind of the same situation where we've already kind of had careers and like lives that kind of started, then we stopped and decided to do something completely different.
nothing to do with art. Oh,
Yeah,
wait, no,
like,
I didn't.
well, yeah. And
Yeah.
Pablo, you're starting out like you're still in school, right?
Yep.
Like,
I'm
yeah,
still a little baby.
I went to art school and I had a full time job, and you know, we're older, we're older, and like it for us to be at that award show and kind of realize that it's never too late to kind of do anything. It's not at all too late. You just got to do it and just
Yeah, I mean, it seems to only take 3 years of hard work to be able to understand and have those entry level skills to be able to get jobs. And once you're doing, $300 jobs or something like that, but you're getting paid. This is what Marshall said at the panel, to get your chops, $300 per image, and or $150 per image. Like, but you're trying, if you're for real, you're trying to do the best you possibly can, and then you learn that like what's acceptable, what isn't, what people want to see in different companies, and you start learning about the industry and business afterwards.
yeah,
Oh, that was the other thing. Like it's all just marketing yourself. Like,
yeah,
not being afraid to market yourself. Like, yes, be humble about your skills and be humble about like being a student, a lifetime student. Like, don't be a braggart and just share what you can. But like, you have there, there are products. And there are consumers for every single one of them, and there's a reason they're paying these artists to make these things because there's a market for them. And like any business, you need to go to these conventions every year, and you need to uh, be, even if it's not weird to see like a banner of yours on
yeah.
of art like huge that you've never seen before. Uh, that's really cool, and like you're gonna have to suffer if you're like humble. You're gonna have to suffer with people appreciating you for a weekend. Like
Yeah,
uh, and just get over it and do the marketing and recognize that people are mystified by this magic thing that you're able to come up with things out of thin air that no one else can come up with. And I mean, you're literally just making up stuff, and people will buy it. You know,
yeah. So, um, did
and people will
y'all?
hate it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. People will hate it. People will buy it. People will be like, "You're doing it wrong. Do it this way."
Yeah.
Um,
People will be
did
like, "What brush are you using?"
yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, that was the thing I wanted to make was how many times did you get a card from an artist, see their picture, and then realize who they were?
That happened a few times. Yeah. I'd say at least 3 or 4, like more often than you'd think, which makes me realize like I should pay attention more to people's Facebook profile pictures, or at least try and find a picture of them that isn't like, the monster that they drew, see what they look like.
That I think that happened more so at the Massive Black Workshop for
Hmm.
me, and this time around, I was discovering new artists I just had never known were out there, and so
Yeah,
it
I need
was
to
like,
his
yeah.
names.
But so, oh, you know what? Who did y'all see there? Like that you walked in. I know. I think all of us. I think everyone kind of loves Justin Sweet's work. Vance Kovacs. That's kind of like
Right.
a given. Was there anyone that you ran into and you were suddenly either you discovered them and it was like a epiphany, like, oh man, this guy's awesome. Who is he? Or maybe you just hadn't really taken a good look at their work before. Because I know for me it was like the Shiflett brothers, and I've
Yes.
known about them.
Yes.
I'd known about them for years, and I didn't even put two and two together. They live in Texas, so like Carlton and I were like, what? Why haven't we
Yeah.
messaged them or like talked to them or
What are we
you know?
doing?
I know that was like a big deal for me to realize like these guys live in a small town in Texas, and they won the Gold Award. If you know if Unions are watching and they don't know, they won the Gold Award for 3D and fantasy sculpting this year. So
Hmm.
like two brothers from Beaumont, Texas, like just basically working together all their life, doing exactly the same thing they used to do when they were little, pretty much. I'm assuming I don't know their story, but
Hmm.
and they still live in Texas. They haven't moved. They haven't moved away. They don't live in LA now or something, or like they didn't move to New Zealand to work at Weta. They just still live in Texas and still do the same thing they're
Yeah.
doing. And
Yeah.
they're like, oh, we go to Austin all the time. And it was like, God damn it! Like, how do we not meet you already and talk to you? And I really appreciate all the stuff
Yeah.
you've done because I bought one of their busts like immediately. I was like, I just need this right now.
Yeah. I was about to go Ocean's 11 on that tank guy. Like, just grab it off of the one that won the award.
Oh yeah,
Like, I
that
was just gonna go, yeah, just kind of Indiana Jones it. And no, but I think one of the guys that I discovered that I had, and everybody seemed to be crowding around like for a long time. I think Don Carlos from uh, L.A. I guess she's in now. She was like behind the booth with I think with this guy named Alan Williams. He had these huge like sick graphite drawings that were just like extremely detailed and these really creepy illustrations and
yeah, really
this
weird.
yeah, but they were really cool. Like they weren't my bag, but it was like whoa, like like everybody knows this guy and is appreciating it. I think I need to also. I think the other one for me was and I'm going to butcher this name, but it's Bastien Lecouf
Oh yeah,
de Harm.
Bastion. Yeah.
French.
Yeah, it's
Thank you,
this
Carl. Thank you, Pablo.
Roman.
Yeah, it's French.
It must be French. Yeah, the the guy, we were talking to him outside for like
Yeah.
20 minutes just about this blog or not this favorite
Uh,
things,
I,
favorite foods,
we
favorite
were yeah
wines,
we were talking
like
about bread for a while before
yeah,
we got out there.
like baguettes and like I told him I like this Tumblr called Boobs and Burgers and the so he asked me, he gave Miguel a card and he was like, well, do you want the one with boobies on it, and I was like, yeah, sure. And then he hands me the card and it's this guy. I've looked at these illustrations probably like 4 years and showed them to people um like what is this guy doing, like how is he doing this, and I've downloaded his brushes, I've looked at his work, I've studied it, and nobody, not even like, a lot of American artists don't know who he is or um which is
And
which is
he lives in America, which is funny too. He
yeah,
lives in
like
Indiana.
yeah, and like he and I don't know him as well as I should, but like I get this card and I'm like, oh shit, like it was just like immediate reaction out loud,
Yeah, yeah.
like
He was
I
like,
did.
"Oh my god, I just realized who you were."
Yeah. He was like, "Oh, is there a problem?" And I was like, "No, like I've just been looking at this stuff, forever and trying to dissect it." And he's told me that there's three brushes I don't give to anyone, not even my students. Like I'll give my students the special brushes that I don't put online. I'll put on, like brushes that I think everybody should put on, and his theory behind it, which is I think a lot of artists, is just make your own goddamn brushes. And
Yeah. Yeah.
I realized suddenly I was talking about brushes like a noob all of a sudden, but I was more talking about like the work in general was like the mark making. I don't give a shit about the brushes. Like it's like how are you making these cool marks that look like paintings in a digital uh,
Yeah.
setting, and that was a really cool moment for me to get to talk to him, and and yeah, like you have those moments when you get to stay out till 2, and you finally you just run into someone who wants to be alone outside having a cigarette, and you're having a cigarette, and it's just like, hey, like that was another thing that was weird, was being able to give people cigarettes that needed, or give a lighter to someone,
Oh yeah.
like
Yeah.
that was really like that's your in all of a sudden, like you're the lighter guy, like
Yeah.
and it was really handy to just have that as an introduction. You never know, like social stuff
Yeah,
for
you could just
me.
bring a lighter, not smoke, and be like, yeah, I have a
Yeah,
lighter.
yeah. Let's stand outside with the smokers if you need a moment alone, and just to like recoup. Like, okay, like this just happened. I want to go over here now, but everybody's upstairs. Okay, I need to go chill out for a second. But yeah, and it's a good moment to just kind of like get to meet people you never thought you were gonna meet.
Yeah. And then I guess something else I was gonna ask y'all too. What did you pick up? Because there's tons of stuff on. It was like a huge art market. You know.
Yeah,
I think we all spent more than we planned.
yeah,
Possibly.
Yep.
So
And you're beating a lot of hot pockets.
it was my
yeah.
first time to really buy art, like actual like. I haven't really bought art like that. I've thought about buying prints sometimes when they come up on Mondo, but I had
I
to
just
say that
started.
yeah, like my first art purchases were there. That was really it. Yeah, I don't think I really bought anything until then. I was like, oh my god, like you could just see the person who made it, and you can see like some of the prints are amazing. Like I don't know who they're using to get those prints done, but they look like they looked like so detailed. It was pretty much an exact copy of the original.
Yeah, I think we had decided that we're definitely just going to have a booth to sell things, and I think a lot of people will trade stuff. They'll trade originals and
Yeah.
not worry about prices and everything, because I think uh, other artists know that other artists know that it's kind of just all marketing bullshit, but you can trade, if you both
Yeah.
think it's cool and stuff. But like, uh, I think that the first time I realized, like, oh my god, I need to start buying art. This is the coolest thing ever. Was when I actually visited Alex Konstad's house in San Diego. He had all of these Francis Vallejo originals, and
Oh yeah, yeah.
He's got a lot of cool stuff up
He's
in
a
his
he's a
place.
he's a good collector. I just kind of realized that this trip too.
yeah, like a lot of people were really smart about getting into collecting original sketches, or seeing what like I had just got to Paul Bonner's booth, and this kid was walking off with this original troll sketch, and was like, I'm gonna frame this. And I was like, oh my god, you don't even know, like, you are not worthy to have that thing. And like,
Yeah.
like that would be like that would be like
Yeah.
right front and center of my draft table, like, for the rest of my life, like if I had a uh thing. But yeah, like learning that you have to collect a good ratio of horizontal versus vertical.
Oh yeah.
You can't just get all vertical and have that one horizontal, and it just looks stupid. Like, so I was like everyone that I bought prints from, I was like, and you can just and get them signed. Like just ask them, hey, can you sign this? This is amazing, and they're always gonna sign it.
They'll
Like, I never
sign
had.
it. They may ask for if you want to sketch. They might be like, "Did you want to
Mhm.
sketch or something?" Because they're just there all day.
Yeah,
So,
I mean,
Yeah,
I got that with some of the books I bought. I was chatting
yeah,
with them for a bit, and I was just like, oh yeah, I forgot I came to your booth to buy a book, and then be like, oh yeah, you want me to do a sketch real fast? And then while you were talking to them further, they'd make a little drawing, and it's just like, damn, I just got an original piece of art in this book. It's pretty sweet.
what did y'all pick up? Anyone want to divulge the loot?
yeah. I got a couple of Paul Bonner prints. Got him to sign those, and I think I got a. I don't want to remember this guy's name either. Dominic Saponaro. I think that's how you say it.
Oh yeah.
That guy was really cool. Like I picked, yeah, like those were really fun, really saturated, big pieces for really affordable price. I was like, you're gonna buy these for 50 or $100 online, and everybody's just giving them at like discount prices, just to pay for the
Yeah.
trip.
It was a lot cheaper to pick up. Pablo, what'd you pick up?
I was really interested in just seeing people's processes. Like, so I snagged up a lot of sketchbooks.
Yeah.
I know I got Justin's sketchbook, Vance Kovacs' sketchbook, sketchbooks
Oh
from.
yeah, I got that.
Yeah, I mean, some of my favorite creature artists from back in when I was growing up in DA, like they had sketchbooks out there too.
Yeah.
Bryn Metheny and Tiffany Terrell, and they're really cool too. I mean, they might actually be visiting San Diego, so if they come by, I told them, go snorkeling, do this and that, and that was another thing too. Like just talking to them about that, I realized
Yeah.
like with a lot of artists, it's nice when you can do more than just talk shop with them, because
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
There'll be the people where really all you have in common with them is like you guys both draw, but then some people are
Yeah.
like, oh, you like dinosaurs and weird obscure biology stuff, me too, or stuff like that, and that's how you really just end up making friends.
Yeah, that's. I feel like that's. I think I told Carl. I mean, the last live stream I did after I got back from Massive Black Workshop, I was kind of talking about that. I just talked to my own about how I rarely talked about any art when I was there. That was like not
Yeah.
the point for me. The point was to just meet the people that, of course, they take art seriously. So now let's just talk to them and find out who they are as a person. And like that was a big time for that. And this was no different. Like, I mean, like I go to a sketch group. Carlton and I go to a sketch group here every Wednesday. And like, if we want to talk about art, we can talk about art every Wednesday with a bunch of other artists. But to meet some of the people and be like. Also find out like who they're a fan of. I think lots of people
Yeah.
saw that there was artists that were showing up there. I think like Wes Burt showed up and Carla Ortiz. They were just there to attend, to meet other people and hang out, and because everyone's a fan of everyone else's work, and no one is not a
Yeah.
fan of someone else.
Yeah, like there are people that like Alex Konstad was extremely excited to meet, and like that he was nervous about, and I had no clue who they were and didn't give
Yeah.
a shit. Like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was just like not saying anything against the artist, but like I was
Yeah.
just like, oh yeah, I shook their hand and met them.
Yeah, it's just not a big deal.
It's very
dude.
humanizing.
It depends on like also like how much of a fan or how influenced you were by them, because certain artists are they've got in their own right, they're incredibly great at what they do, but it might not be the exact kind of thing that appeals to you. So you can respect a certain artist and just say, yeah, like he does great work. But then there's that artist that like when Dave Dorman, like I didn't realize Dave Dorman, like kind of who he was, and that he had done all the Star Wars covers back like when I was growing up, and like he'd worked on the G.I. Joe toy line, and it was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh crap, this is one of the men that were creating like the covers and
Influenced
the
my
things.
life.
Yeah, like, and he's just like, hey, what's going on? What book do you like? And I was just like, it's like, I'll take a sketchbook. He's like, it's a free one. Like he's giving away. Like he's just like really quiet, the guy. And I got bought a book from him from my cousin who's visiting. So I got like a Star Wars cover book, and he did like 15 of the covers in the Star Wars art comic cover book. So it's like it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's just crazy
I-
people that you meet there.
Yeah, like I realized I was getting flustered talking to one artist, and I was like, yeah, I'll see you around. I had to go, like just have a minute and like regroup myself, and then you come back and be like, okay, you're fine. Like it was like you got that first meet and greet out of the way. So, yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely buying some more statues next time I go. That was
Oh yeah.
awesome.
So I
The
picked up
guys with the evil chairs.
yeah, them too. Yeah.
Yeah. If I ever
The
become an evil tobacco CEO, I'm buying that $12,000 chair that just looks like you're going to murder babies in. It
Oh,
just
yeah.
was
looks
it the
like
one covered in like nails and horns and stuff?
yeah.
It
Yeah.
was like a whole crocodile.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
guy. Oh, I forget his first name. His last name was Chudzinski, though. And then he was a really cool dude. I got to talk to him for a bit, and I guess just tying into the whole like spectrum as a source of inspiration thing. What he mentioned is that he attended. I don't know if it was his first Spectrum, but he was at Spectrum last year as an attendee, and then
Right.
he was just like blown away by all the work. He's like, "Damn, I got to become a part of this." So he spent a year just cranking out like everything in that booth he made in the last year.
Hmm.
He submitted to Spectrum, and then not only did he get in, and
He got a
into the
silver
book.
award, or he was nominated, right?
Yeah, he was nominated, and
Yeah.
they contacted him to do portfolio reviews. And he said what was funny is when they called him up and they said, "Hey, do you want to do portfolio reviews?" He thought like they meant, "Does he want to get his portfolio reviewed by someone?"
Yeah.
So he's just like, "Yeah." So who would it be? And they're like, "You'd be doing the reviews." He's like, "Oh, weird."
Yeah,
So
that's pretty funny actually. Um,
Yeah. So within like a year, like if you work hard enough, that was so cool to see. It's like, oh, I just have to sit down and work hard. I can do that.
yeah,
yeah,
Like I can put aside a bunch of the bullshit. I can live off $200 a month if I wanted to. You know, like I don't recommend that to a lot of people who have to support the roof over their head. But I live
Yeah.
with my parents, and I'm not ashamed to say that. I mean, I'm fucking 30 years old, and so but I'm doing that for a reason until I'm going to be able to. Like, yeah, this is the house that Art built. Like
yeah.
yeah,
The house
So-
that Art built.
yeah.
yeah. And you could just be like, "Yeah, I don't need human interaction for a few months. I can just sit at the desk and crank away."
Well, yeah, because you get it all there. Like you get it
Yeah.
all at these events, and they're just unbelievable. And there's now I realize like now I want to go to a LuxCon because like I'll know people there, and I've already met them at Spectrum, and and that was something that I thought was really cool was like you no longer have to like cold call these people. You can actually email them and say, "Hey, it's Carl from the elevator," or like we met in the elevator real briefly, and it makes it extremely easy for people to remember you and remember your work and put a face to it. So like I'll remember Scott Murphy forever because like I knew his images, and when I finally met him and got to talk to him and see all of his originals, I got to have him break it down like not to worry about getting in an industry that people are like sketchy about getting into trading card games and stuff, but like or talk shit about getting into like while you're in art school. But it's like everybody's doing them to get paid. It's
Yeah.
like so like some people don't want to have to do that work, but I think like someone like myself, I'd love to do that kind of stuff for a long time, and then go to an event to see all of my friends.
Yeah.
And buy some originals, or that's not a bad life. That made it seem like okay to be what I wanted to be.
Did any of y'all pick up any originals?
Nah, I didn't get anything.
That's just me opening up. I'm just opening up my window to say I picked up a Justin Sweet Blood Kelly.
Yeah,
I
you just
know
want to
did.
brag.
That was
Yeah,
just me
that
saying
was
like,
funny.
well, I did, and it was awesome. I think Alex
Yeah.
Constad picked one up, and then I was like, I gotta get one.
Yeah, I really wanted to get that a Manchess, and then there was
The little helmets. Is that?
yeah, that was really cool. And then there was a guy who was, I think, helping put on the Kansas City show, like that everyone knew. And I think for all his hard work, I think Mr. Manchess like gave him one of the coolest little things, like by the end of the show, and like it hadn't sold, but
Was that
you know,
the guy we met outside the last day that we finally met?
yeah,
He
I
had
think
like a
his name
unique name.
Lazarus or something
Lazarus.
like
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
Lazarus. Yeah.
and yeah, he got the cat with the samurai helmet on. I was like, oh god,
Oh, that sounds
Yeah.
rad.
yeah, that was the way. It was like right in the middle, and I was just like, oh man, that is so cool. So, but yeah, it's such a good idea to like, like the tables are $100, and share a table or get 4 people and get 2 tables, or uh, I don't know if you have to split it or if you can split it, or it has to be like one artist per table or something.
There
But
seem to be multiple artists. I think they're pretty open. They'd rather have more art than than say
Yeah.
no. I don't think we'd want
But
to say no anymore, Art.
yeah, I mean, there's no reason to next time just like I mean, we dropped $100 on originals. Like, let's drop $100 on a booth
Yeah,
and bring
yes, yeah.
everything we did that year,
Yeah.
and trade stuff and get originals and have fun and meet people and get jobs. It just seemed so positive after I left. Like everything else that was bothering my life seemed like trivial.
Yeah.
Like wondering what I was gonna do with art, wondering what I was gonna do when school ended. It was like, oh, I'm gonna do this shit. Like this is where it's at.
Yeah.
Like this is where I want to be every year.
Yeah, I think it's a good community to be in. I think everyone is the douchebag level is at a minimum.
Oh yeah,
Um,
there's nobody there. Like
yeah.
yeah, bare minimum. Well,
Bare,
I'll say bare minimum.
Yeah,
There
yeah,
was
it's,
a
the fact is
typical
never
amount.
completely gone.
There, yeah, some
Wait,
artists are great.
in terms of artists, like the douchebag level, like there was random people coming in. So I can't account for the public that walked in. You know, the random public like people just off the streets
Yeah,
of Kansas City that were like. But I mean, people like fantasy art. They're the same kind of people that like we are. They're not like. I mean, they're not the kind of people that are douchebags.
yeah, like
Anyway.
like you get the guy. Yeah, not those douchebags. Like not the crazy bum who wanted to buy Miguel beer after hours and
Oh,
was
that guy.
so insistent. Like after
He-
hours. How
yeah.
could you be after hours, man?
He was ready to
Like
get me that beer,
yeah,
and
that
I already
guy's
had a drink in my
between,
hand,
like
and it
some
was
other
not
guy.
after hours.
Yeah, like
That guy was a
yeah,
character.
yeah, that guy. He got his portrait drawn by one of the artists that were standing around, and
But
Yeah.
he was
that
just
was
blown away. That look on his face,
that
like you could tell
after
he'd been like hustling all day, and then he was
yeah.
humbled by that. Like
Like
yeah,
he looked like he was so happy to get that artist to draw him. Like if he had
yeah,
seen the smile on his face, he would have been like, maybe he just wanted me to draw him the whole time.
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
maybe he
Just
wasn't
wanted
just
you
a
to draw him for a
crazy
beer.
a crazy alcoholic man on the streets.
Yeah. Yeah,
But,
there was some parties happening on KC that night. Because remember when we were all standing outside, like that one group of just like drunken frat boys that were like walking the middle of the street and just yelling at cars
oh,
and shit.
yeah.
I believe
There
there
was
was a
a-
Cat Williams concert.
Yeah. There was a Cat Williams like
Oh, okay.
concert or performance Friday night.
Those are his people.
Open night. One of my favorite quotes, and I'll leave his name out of it. Was from a young man we met from Jersey. I told him, yeah, like I was walking by the Cat Williams thing, and all of a sudden I just smelled delicious. It was like all the best, most like awesome, expensive cologne and cocoa butter, and their Cadillacs with choppers going by, and I was just like, oh, this is kind of awesome to look at, but I got to get back to the meet and greet, and then
It's like a
this
weird
guy was,
experience.
yeah, it was like surreal. It was like right next door is like
To
all
all
these
the-
heroes,
all
of
the
other
fantasy
people.
artists, and then Cat Williams and all those fans.
Yeah, and then like he saw a couple of women walking down, and like they were really dressed to the nines, and they were a little overweight, I assume, and he thought like, oh, are these the prostitutes of Kansas City? Because
He's from
and then
Jersey.
he gets like 20 more feet, and he sees Cat Williams in big lights. Oh, it's a Cat Williams show. Like they're
Aw.
here for that. Like it's like, oh my god, this is freaking hilarious. Like this guy. Oh my god, it was. I died laughing. I told him I
Yeah.
was stealing that. Like, are these the purveyors of pussy in this area? It's like, oh no, it's Cat Williams, of course.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
so obvious. The fans of that. I was like, that is so sad. It's so funny at the same time. Yeah, that was a
Um,
great experience.
it's a weird mix. Kansas City was a pretty nice place.
Yeah.
I thought it was
Yeah.
a nice place for being out in the middle of a bunch of cows and plains. And
Oh yeah.
Carlton and I drove through
affordable.
most of Kansas.
Yeah, like I think one of my favorite things was seeing fields of cows with like Hardee's signs or like steakhouse billboards right next to them. Like they're like at any moment it's like does it ever click for them? They look up and then like stop chewing and just like their mouth drops.
Wait a second.
like, oh
That's Jerry.
shit! Like, yeah, that looks really familiar. Yeah, and then we had the most beautiful, uh, mind-blowing vista suddenly interrupted, like slapped all of your senses at once. Like you're just like you
Uh,
have no
well,
other. It wasn't a sneeze
the way it
or
works is like we were
but
driving
like you have
and
this like repulsive. It's like,
the clouds were parting in this gray dark sky, and there was God rays shooting across the plains of Kansas, and there was literally two rainbows.
Mhm.
Like
Double rainbow.
across, no, it was like the two rainbows, but because there's those God rays shooting through the sky, the rainbow like stopped at a certain spot, and it was like at one point it like stopped right over a red barn with a silver silo, and I was like, oh my god, this is like America. And then I rolled down the windows to get a good video shot of it.
And
It
a
was
bald
the
eagle flew in.
most god awful smell of
Oh.
like death and like cow shit. Basically, like
Mhm.
just hit us like a brick, and we just started yelling like
Oh,
no, like no, no, roll it up, roll it up.
it won't get out of my mouth.
It's all in video. We'll put it up at one
Yeah.
point. But I got video of us basically just being idiots yelling on the way into Kansas. Like, and of course, anyone that's from Kansas is gonna know. Oh, don't roll your window down there. Like,
Yeah.
that's this place where it smells terrible.
Yeah,
They're gonna
yeah,
like, well,
that
of
was
course it
great.
smelled
I
bad.
mean,
Y'all idiots rolled your window down at that part of the highway that always smells that way.
Yeah.
But
mhm.
so I guess let me kind of ask. So, what have you taken away after coming back? We'll start with Pablo. Like you on your way home, what were you thinking about? What have you decided in terms of just like going there and seeing everything? And is there anything in your mindset that's changed? Or anything you want to do differently, or anything you want to try out, or anything like
I mean,
that
I guess the main thing I
inspired
really,
you?
yeah, I guess the main thing I really realize is it's no longer a question of like, because I mean, I always used to freak out and be like, oh, will I be able to have a career in this? Is it possible? I mean, I'm not going to make it, etc. But now it's just like, I mean, you keep cranking away at it, and you'll potentially be one of those guys someday. So that was a big like mindset shift for me. And another thing too is that I at Massive Black, I briefly met some of the art students from Ringling, and then I found out that they had pieces that got into Spectrum, and these guys are only maybe like 2 3 years older than me. So I'm thinking like, damn, I mean, that should be a goal, crank out and then like try and get something in Spectrum before I leave from school. So that's going to be something I'm definitely going to be shooting for, just trying to make good work and seeing if potentially that can make it into that book, or just not so much because I need the recognition or I need to be inspected, but just like it's a benchmark that says
Yeah, you
yes,
want to be part of the club. Like you
yeah,
want to be one of those guys.
yeah. It's like it says the work you're making is good enough to be in this. Like
Yeah,
it's objectively it's good.
yeah. That I think um, Carlton and I actually here in Austin, in the sketch group I'm with, we had set up a little challenge for ourselves before even thinking of coming to this place that we were going to all work on pieces throughout the year, and when it comes time for next year, submit to Spectrum, and we were all going to help each other along in terms of critiques and feedback. I think that's a big, huge, definite, like obvious thing to do now. Where before it was like, oh, that seems fun, but then it's like, no, I need to do that. Like I need to dedicate that time and effort. But then definitely too, we're gonna get a booth next year. Like no matter what, I feel like that's like kind of need it
Yeah,
in terms of like exposure and just like exposure and it's gonna be it'll be fun to do it and you know like I guess if anyone's not listening or if you're listening to this on YouTube later on, you're not live, just so you understand the kind of like exposure you're gonna get there, like the art director of Tor Books and Orbit Books, they're there walking around looking at everything. And the art director or the creative director from ILM is looking around at all the booths. And, Justin Sweet and Vance Kovacs are walking around looking at all the booths. Like, just having a table or a booth there is a great way to expose yourself and your artwork to people. Well, you could expose yourself better if you're like in the bathroom or something, but in terms of like the level of like necessity this event is for like an illustrator. It's like right there at the way actors go to the Academy Awards. You got to go to this event, and I think until someone really tells you this, because I know this year I was looking for a video like what we're doing now that would kind of explain what it was about and what it was going to be like, and I couldn't really find anything. I saw some short videos that Spectrum did themselves, but I didn't see like a participant kind of like making some kind of. And it's only the third year they're doing it, so it's pretty new. But this is that video. If you're thinking about going to Spectrum next year and you stumbled upon this video, one, I'll see you there. We'll have a booth. I don't know the number yet.
Oh
But,
yeah.
we'll be there. And two, you should go. If you're an illustrator, you definitely need to go. If you're a concept artist, I highly recommend it too, just because it's a fun event. You can catch up with a bunch of people. If you are any kind of art student that was like I was, and you're studying art in a college that has this really gallery focus, Spectrum Art Live is the industry gathering that you'll need to go to really see what the industry's like. Because you see all avenues of it. You see the art directors and the creative directors. You see the fans and you see the creators all in one place. And it's kind of like a small sampling of the industry for anyone that's wondering. And it's only $40. It's $40 plus however you get there. And if you're close by, just drive. If you're not so close by, fly or drive. Or if you're really far away, fly or take a boat. I don't
Yeah,
know, whatever.
just fly a lot. Yeah,
But
it was crazy. The New Zealand guys that came in. Can't imagine how long that trip must have been.
yeah, I mean, there was guys from Weta Workshop. So, like, if you're a concept artist, you want to meet some artists from Weta Workshop. Like, they're there, maybe, it all depends. Maybe next year they won't be, but, like, you don't know who you're going to run into. And lots of these illustrators double up as concept artists, depending on what job they're hired for. But, like, if you're looking and watching this video, and if you listened this long and still are interested in what we're saying, this would be me telling you, like, you should definitely go. You should probably go with some people, some friends, share a room. Find out what hotel everyone's staying at, get a room there. Everyone plan to stay up late, drink coffee, drink energy drinks. Plan to make sure you always eat your meals with some other artist. Find someone to like share a meal with at one point, and just like so you could talk with them outside of the event. Bring lots of cash for art. Like have a small budget for art that is separate from your entire travel budget. I think going back, I would almost say, if you're looking at buying originals, put away $1,000.
Yeah.
Just for your art budget. And then that's aside from your travel budget, your hotel, your eating expenses. But you could pick up like an original from like what's his name? The Manchez. I can't think of his name. Gregory?
Yeah, Greg Manches.
Greg Manchez. I mean, you could pick up an original Greg Manchez with that kind of money. You could pick up Wayne Reynolds was selling original like Paizo art he did. Like Alex Konstad picked up an original Wayne Reynolds. Justin Sweet and Vance Kovacs had original watercolor sketches and I think some original oils. If you really are into that kind of artwork, it's the place where you can not only buy the art, but you can shake the hand of the artist as you buy it. Like, it's a unique experience. And there's some crazy sculptures and stuff, and I think that's one thing that I would make sure that if you are going to go and you're thinking of just attending just in order to like meet and greet, the art budget should be something you really put away. But you can find like there's some guys selling 5 prints for $20, so it all depends on your budget. You can find a way to buy art at that event. So yeah. Carlton, you there?
Yeah, I just realized I had my mic off.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, or you could take 20K and drop it on a Donato, on a
okay,
huge
yeah.
Donato painting.
Yeah, like
Those oil paintings were insane.
yeah,
Yeah.
like the art budget's a big deal because it's like it's one of the only workshop / trade show places where there's just this abundance, like what do you call it? A plethora of art
Yes.
available. And what do you Carlton? What did you take away now? Like now having gone, I
I
think
think
we want to like have a booth for sure. That's like a must.
yeah, like
Um,
I think for me it was like I didn't really want to show my portfolio to anybody. I didn't want to do that at first, and then when I finally did, I kind of uh, got set back to reality and how much I need to work, how much I want to work. I think the confusion that I had about what I wanted to do career wise, because I only thought you could just work for people, like. But I met I think it's Jackson Robertson, the guy who was making trading cards. Like he's
oh
making
yeah,
his
those are
own
awesome.
cards. Like I was working for someone making cards for them, and then got screwed, so but it was like this guy, he owns this IP, like he had a contract to make Sherlock Holmes decks himself, or um his own deck, Federal 52, which is freaking awesome. I think that going around and seeing like uh sculptures and prints, and it's like nobody had t-shirts, so
Oh yeah,
that was like, what, like fans are here.
yeah,
Fans will buy this stuff if it looks cool and you have a nice, really little, like, if you have a variety of things for people to buy, they're gonna look at every single one of them, like
yeah.
the little
Well,
sketchbooks, the books, the T-shirts,
yeah.
or a
I'll be
little
bringing t-shirts for
statue.
sure. That's like a must. I like my t-shirts. I've done so. If
Hmm.
anyone's interested in a skull t-shirt, I currently have a few left. They are skulls. They look like Frankenstein, and I'm selling them for about $30. You could get them cheaper if you pre-ordered, but the next design will be a pre-order available for $20 on my website, fearcouncil.com. So anyway, let's back to the subject. Um, yeah. So,
Selfless plug.
do you know what you wanna? Do you know what you wanna work on now? Like for both of y'all, like what's the one thing you're gonna do? Well, I guess Carl, I kind of know what you're gonna work on, but we got a meeting on Friday about it. But
Oh yeah.
Pablo, what did you mark down in your checklist of like I gotta work on this or I have to do this X thing or whatever?
I mean, for me, it's just like up until now in school, I've only been doing, exercises like figure drawing, cast drawing, stuff like that. Now it's just like I got to crank out more, I guess, imaginative personal pieces and
Mm-hmm.
really shoot for things that are unique and original. And I mean, even if they won't get into any publication or whatnot, it's like everything I'm gonna try to paint from now on, I'll do with the mentality like this has got to be as polished and as awesome as I can make it. Because, I mean, act like this is the kind of stuff I want to show people next event. Because one thing that really bugged me is that I didn't have any work to show aside from random stuff in my sketchbook. But even then, those are just sketches. I want to be
Right.
able to have paintings that indicate like this is the kind of work I want to do. This is the kind of stuff I want to potentially get a job in. And I really just want to start creating work that shows that.
Yeah. Well, you're definitely not going to succeed at that. No, sorry, I'm just joking.
Not with
I
that
see how
attitude.
I see how it is.
No, that's easy too. You're literally still in school. Like you're 19 years old, and like you are me in UT, but like you know exactly where you want to go. And actually, I was the same. I just had a different. I went to the haunted house industry. Lots of people that, if anyone's been
Yeah.
on here before, that I used to work at a haunted house full time. And I'll explain more later when you meet me in person sometime. But I don't want to talk about it now. The
Thank God. No, I'm just
yeah,
kidding.
and it's all the entire road trip was me talking about that job.
No, that kept me awake.
Um,
Needed to hear about it actually.
what do we else? What do we got here? Well, for one thing, I got to finish all this work I have to do. But I know that as soon as I can get through this stuff, I need to work on some new personal pieces. Um, I have to get some of that stuff done. I need to be able to start working on some watercolors because I've always loved watercolor, but I haven't really done it in ever / a long time. So I want to kind of get some original works done in ink, graphite, watercolor, and have them ready for next year to be able to show. And even if no one buys them, just so people could see, like your mark making in person.
Yeah.
And that's something that I want to probably do some more plein air painting, which I've never done before. So I guess start doing plein air painting. And we got a good group out here that goes out every now and then to the green belt to do some painting. But so far I've been busy, and this next 2 months I'm just like swamped, so I can't do anything fun. besides draw for a living.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like I'm
Sounds
not
so
having
glorious.
fun.
Yeah, the struggle.
It's a
Yeah,
good
man.
struggle. Okay, so I think we've covered everything there. I don't know. We have 14 viewers in the chat. If anyone does have a
Oh
question,
wow.
if anyone does have a question, or if wants to ask anything at all, let us, ask now or forever hold your peace.
Mm-hmm.
I will be posting this video on YouTube, and we do have a video. We shot lots of video, so we're gonna try and get that edited and posted.
Yeah, I think we're gonna do some mashups, some of the confessional stuff we just did about the show, like over a lot of the shots that we did, just give everybody a visual, you know.
Yeah. So we're gonna have this video posted. We'll have the video from Spectrum posted.
Whenever.
Yeah, as soon as I get work done and have time to edit a video
Yeah, as
like
soon
that.
as there's time.
So otherwise, I know like we're just gonna be continuing to work, and we're planning to go to Spectrum next year, show our work. We're gonna submit to Spectrum. My brush has stopped working on my computers. I can't. Okay, there. Hold on. God dang it. Okay, there we go. We're going to be updating everyone. If anyone in here if anyone in here signed on and watched me do the daily study group, I'm going to start that up again. But I figure what I'll do is the same way I did it before. I'm going to basically do a binge of studying for about a month or two and then stop. So it's going to be like an infrequent occurrence. And this next set of studies I will be doing will be lots of life drawing, or like not life drawing, but photo figure studies. So if you don't know what that is, just go to my YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/Mike086, or you can just look down at the archive. There should be a bunch of videos that say Daily Study Group, Crimson Daggers. And so if you want to journey along with us in this venture of art, you can join us for daily studying, which won't start till after probably the next month or two, because I got like I said, get work done.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to be able to do
pumped.
it.
Get ready.
I need every hour I have available right now. Anyway, I think that's about it for now. I think I don't think you can see any questions, but otherwise, that's kind of a recap on the whole event. It was very much like any other convention in terms of like layout. I guess let me say that real quick. There was tables and booths, and you walk around and you can meet the artists, shake hands, get things signed, and if you've been to any other kind of convention or con, it's very much that environment, and bring cash, just that's about it. Bring your work to show people. Even if you don't plan on getting a portfolio review, people want to know what you do if you don't have a presence quite yet. Like at the Massive Black workshop when I went, no one knew who the hell I was, and
And
everyone.
they will ask to see
Yeah.
your stuff. Like people will want to see it once.
They want to know what you do. Like they'll be at one point they'll just say, I don't even know what your work looks like. Can I see it? And just be ready to show them, just because they want to know the kind of person you are. You can kind of read people from the work. And then besides that, like, at least this time around, which was nice actually, because December was Massive Black, and that was like, didn't have anything going, just went off to meet people. And this workshop, it's like, oh, I'm working on an RPG, and working on some game cards already. I've done some stuff, and like, it's not out yet, but it will be out, and it'll be nice to know that like there's a published work out there. And for me, that's like a big deal, because I haven't really done anything like that until just recently. How large is the audience and the attendance? It changed, because the first day was just the people with 3-day passes, and then the next day is they open it to the public. So it kind of varied. Like Mother's Day, I think, was a little slower than the Saturday, but it wasn't too crowded. It wasn't anything like like South by or Comic-Con San Diego or anything like that.
Yeah, South by was freaking packed, and like this was almost the same size, I would say, as the rooms that like all put together as the convention center here to Austin. It's like all the rooms that they were using at the Kansas City one, because that thing is huge. But
Yeah,
like,
the Kansas City Convention Center is like one of the biggest convention centers in the world, apparently.
yeah, it was like 8 blocks wide and long. I mean, it was like going over tunnels and like it was
yeah,
crazy.
but they only use like one room for like the main show. It was like one big event room, and then
Hmm.
like little rooms for like talks. And everything's pretty linear. So the one nice thing is you don't have to decide where to go. Everyone's going to go do this one thing. Everyone's going to go do this another thing. At least the first day was like that. The
Hmm.
first day it was like the event closed, and then they had like a cocktail hour, and everyone went to have hors d'oeuvres and drinks, and then they had a movie premiere, and pretty much everyone went to the movie premiere,
Hmm.
and then everyone went to like a bar or back to the hotel and just drank until like 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
So like it's so they have panels set up, different artists doing workshops. Well, yeah, they're a little more. To me, they are more like the kind of panels you would see at like the Comic Con, where like they were up on the stage, talking behind a mic. And if you've ever been to the Massive Black Workshop panels, they're like very much you're like right next to the artists, and like you can like whisper into their ear, even not that you should, but
Hey.
like it's almost that kind of environment where it's really weird, weirdly personal and close. But this one was much more like an event because there were people that weren't artists that were attending. There were people that were just in the audience that just wanted to like hear them talk. So, you know,
Yeah. Yeah, I think the panels like there were a lot of people there who weren't there to network. Like they didn't know people. They didn't like they didn't realize that this is a bunch of what I didn't say earlier. Like the groups of people who are like participating and trying to get better and doing it's all teachers and students. Like it was just different circles of masters and their students. And it wasn't like a stardom or anything like, and people unfortunately asked a lot of maybe questions that they could have asked Google,
yeah, they asked some dumb questions. There were
like
some questions that you could Google search and find out pretty easily if you
you
do
know
your own research.
yeah,
Stupid
and like
questions
that
do exist.
Yeah,
yeah, like write them down before you go, like like or if like none of the questions you got to ask at the panel, like you're like, oh, I didn't get the microphone, and or whatever, like okay, go to the fucking mixer that's happening right after, or just meet
yeah.
a couple of people, or
Just go
and
go talk to like Paul Bonner in person as Booth, like the next day. If you missed a question, you
yeah.
don't have to. It's not a big a deal. It's not as a big deal as like maybe some other kind of conventions might be. Or, they're all there to kind of just talk, and most of the artists that are there to talk are just as curious as to why they're why they're considered a master as
Mhm.
you would be. Like imagine you being asked. Like everyone's pretty humble and just they appreciate any compliments because they don't. No one likes their own work, no matter how famous they are. No one's happy with their own work, and in terms of like where they thought they could go with it.
Yeah,
Everyone's
no
always
buddy.
looking to get better. So no one comes in with a huge inflated ego. No, no, I wouldn't say no one.
I think everybody's pretty much checked it at the door, because there's people who have had 30-year careers there,
Yeah,
like, and they have no ego. So if they're acting like a fool because they've been drawn for 4 years or 5 years, and whatever, like they're gonna be checked like by one of those people, like, or not be talked to. Like they're gonna realize, they're gonna learn like, oh man, well maybe I shouldn't be such a douche. Like what am I doing wrong here? Like why aren't people liking me or whatever? And people change, like
yeah,
it's really, that was cool to see. So like if you go, like there were some times where like if you're obnoxious, it's seen like as obnoxious just to walk up and like not introduce yourself and like, hey, I know you're this, can I show you this? It's like, well, what's your name? Like we haven't even talked for 2
yeah,
minutes yet, like, and you just want to shove an iPad in my face, like I'm kind of busy. Or like I always ask, like, hey, tomorrow can I bring by my pictures and have you
yeah.
tear them up? Or tomorrow can I
To aim is
uh
critique, not literally
yeah.
tear up my
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
sketches.
yeah. Yeah, can you
Just rip up my art.
Just destroy my iPad. Yeah, like I was I was like thinking, like it's like that's the other thing. Like you realize like, oh man, like I know the answer to my question. Like now that I'm about to ask this guy or this girl like what they think, like I realize like I don't have a good question like that I could have just answered myself, and it's so obvious. So that was how I got to ask Vance how he thinks about color like food and different flavors and stuff like that. So it was no, all the egos are checked at the door. Like
I think too. I mean, like if there's an ego that's not checked, everyone is human, and everyone's going to talk about the douchebag that's at the show. Like
Yeah.
no one's
yeah,
not going to talk. Like there's no reason to not. There's no reason to not. I mean, why not pull over your friend and go, "That guy's a jerk." Like,
yeah.
I like his
Like
artwork, but he's a jerk.
like artists are pretty real, like, and they're gonna tell you what they think, and like like there's not really any passive aggressive stuff. Like there may be some like there was some like huge ego stuff with maybe some of the students, I think, more than there were with that, like because of who their teachers were, than
yeah,
actually like what their work is like, because their work is garbage because they're students. They haven't been doing this for 20 years, but like who they're hanging out with, like I didn't talk to some students because they knew who I was, like, and I walked right up to them and I was like trying to get a chance to talk to them, and they wouldn't look in my direction. Like they just wouldn't acknowledge my presence. I was like, all right, whatever. It's not lost to me because I know your stuff sucks anyway. But it's like I was just trying to be nice and meet you and make a new friend. So you're
yeah.
lost. Like
Yeah, that kind of ego thing. Like, I think if you came up to Carlton and I at that event, not knowing who we are, I mean,
give you a
we're
hug.
we're pretty chill. Like we wouldn't, like I don't. I was surprised at Massive Black when I found out like there was one person that watched this live stream that went there, and like that was huge for me. And I was like, oh my god, really? Thanks. Like,
That's right.
What?
I don't,
Yeah.
I don't literally haven't even done any professional work yet, but you're watching my live stream, and like I'm not at all qualified to like teach anything. I'm just doing it out of to try and help people, to try and show off what I do. Also, it's kind of for me, it's kind of like a journal. It's like a video journal of like my progress from me starting out till ideally later on I'll be looking back at these videos and go, oh my god, what was I doing with my brushes or whatever? Like it was dumb or something.
Yeah. It's like you realize what you need to work on. What would you say were drawing the biggest crowds at other booths? I would probably like the biggest crowds. Like, I think a lot of the big names drew some crowds. I think a lot of originals, like, like I saw more people talking to the Art Connection Academy people, like because they were students and they wanted art education, or they were future students. The
The
biggest crowds, yeah. Like I don't
it
know, like
depends
there
on the
were,
name,
yeah,
you
there
know.
weren't huge crowds. Like I think it was more about like what panels had more people in them, I think, like than the actual booths, because there was any point in time there might have been 5 people at a booth. I think and where it was located, like the booths in the very center of the thing are going to have the most traffic, and like that was a big deal.
We heard that some of the people that had the booths out on the outskirts were having a hard time getting people to like find them. But I think once you make your rounds and if you see the art and it's great art, you're going to walk all the way out to that side and go, wow, like this
Yeah.
is. I think at first it's kind of discouraging because when people first walk in, it's like, oh, it's Justin Sweet, Vance Kovacs, Paul Bonner, like.
I think like
you know.
all the panels drew the most people. Like when they had their talks, like Frank Cho had a talk and it was pretty full. Justin Sweet had a talk and it was pretty full. There was a art director. There's like 3 art director panels. I think a lot of people went to those. Drawing, yeah. There wasn't really like crowds at the booth, like.
Yeah, it wasn't like I mean, it was a 3-day
Oh God, I
event
gotta
too.
touch him. Get in there. Get close. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't like that.
If you had the 3-day pass, you were like pretty much there all day long. So after the first day, you kind of lose the whole. Oh, I want to go and do this one thing. And the second day, you're like, okay, who am I going to talk to now? And by the third day, we were kind of wondering, what are we even going to like? I guess we'll just keep talking to more artists again. Like,
yeah, I was like, I guess I need to finally look at all the art. Like,
Yeah,
I've been schmoozing and meeting awesome people for 2 days, I need to actually go buy my prints, and I need to go look at all this art finally. Like
Yeah.
that was fun because there were people who left on Sunday, and like that's probably not the best idea if you want to go there to buy prints and get in there early or whatever. But like it was a pretty good thing to see. Like people were still envious of these people, and then there were people who knew them as friends, and they were teachers of students, and like that was really cool, and everybody kind of traveled in groups and, according to teachers and students. So it's all it is. Like think of it as masters and their students. I mean, Ian McCaig talked about his students while he was there. Um, I'm a student of Ron Lemon, so is Pablo and Vanessa Lemon in San Diego. So it's like a huge privilege to be able to have those people uh, either talking on for your behalf or introducing you, and it's casual after that.
Um,
That answers the question. I kind of went off on a weird wormhole
yeah,
there.
but yeah, in terms of the crowds, it's not like any. If you've ever been to like a big concert or something, it's like not really anything compared to that. Like
Yeah, it's not Comic-Con.
it's pretty chill. Like it's pretty
Yeah.
relaxed, and and
No
people are
line.
just yeah. There's not really many lines. There might be like every now and then there'll be like a small like 5-person crowd gathers at like
The line at the bar.
yeah the bar. That was actually a big deal. Like
That
that was
yeah.
something that you might want to think about, like either getting to a location early if it's going to be a cocktail hour. Like we went pretty early to the Alamo Draft House one.
Yeah, on
We were,
accident.
we were
We were
there like
just
stupid early,
yeah.
and
The two sheets by the time everybody just got there. Like, hey, no, not
yeah,
really.
like we've been here since 4. And it didn't start till 6. And, like
Yeah.
didn't start till
I
6.
love
So,
you guys.
that's like the thing where like that was kind of a if you weren't there early, it was kind of sucked to stand in line. Unless, well, in a way, it doesn't though. You just sit there and talk to somebody that's an artist, or you get in line next to like unintentionally you get in line next or intentionally get in line right next to an art director and just stand in line for your meatballs on the stick at the art director.
Yeah.
Um, and then suddenly it's like, what are you going to talk about? Are you going to talk about like where you're from or you know veganism?
Yeah.
Not that any of them are vegans, I don't think. But just said that silly joke. Anyway, cool. All right. Well, I was thinking we might end. We're on an hour and 40 minutes. Um, and Carlton, I'll see you tonight at sketch night.
Yeah.
So, um, yeah, and like I said before on these streams, if you are any place near other artists, you need to meet people. You need to meet people in person. Like you need to have that personal connection. If not, you just need to open yourself up to like the industry and the other people that are trying to do what you're doing, because
Yeah.
there's not many that actually are trying to do what you're doing.
Yeah. Find people
And
with similar interests or that are just really nice. There are jerks out there or idiots. Like just because they do art doesn't mean everyone loves them. You know. So yeah.
good day, Jess. Yeah, thanks for coming
Oh
on
yeah.
to the stream. Thanks for
Yeah. Right on.
Carlton and Pablo. Thank y'all for joining me on this,
Yeah, it
and
was cool.
we'll need to do it again sometime. We could
Sure.
We could do some more talks maybe like this, or we just discuss whatever. And I know that people that have come here before, they know that when I'm not crazy busy, I do like critiques and paint overs. So if y'all two want to join me for that sometime, we could do that too.
Yeah.
Someone like rubbing their beard on the microphone. Like, what
Oh,
is that?
that's me
not
scratching
bad.
my head.
Oh.
Oh, dang.
No, it's not
Mics pick
actually.
up everything.
No, it's the keffia.
Oh.
It's rubbing on
Man,
there.
you need some salsa and blue there.
No, it's this. I'm wearing this little keffia scarf, so like it's rubbing right against there as I lean back. Anyway, uh, yeah. So I'll get Carlton and Pablo on in the future. We'll do some critiques, paint overs, and um, yeah, we'll just have some more chats on here, and I'll start up the daily study group again when I get to a better place in terms of time. Um, and thank you all for joining me.
Yeah.
Go make great work, You know, and oh, one more time, if y'all have a website or a place where people can find you, just go ahead and say that.
Yeah, so mine is smooth as eggs. Like those balls are as smooth as eggs. Smoothaseggs.blogspot.com is just my current portfolio. It's just
Is
kind of
that I did not realize that.
yeah,
Smooth as
it's
eggs.
from a Dave Chappelle joke because I'm a huge fan of his. But yeah,
Oh man.
smoothaseggs.blogspot.com. So yeah, it's definitely gonna be rebuilt this summer and amped up. I'll probably actually change the name sooner or later, but that'll be updated when everybody hears this. So
Change his name so it's not smooth as eggs.
yeah, I'm thinking about calling it Precious Junk because it actually like growing up in a hoarder's home, like that kind of it's a little more personal for me. So and it could also be seen as a euphemism, which is kind of funny. So
Yeah.
yeah. What about you, Pablo?
Yeah, I've just got Pablo not Picasso.blogspot.com. Yeah.
Man, y'all have all this
That
creative
is
stuff.
awesome. Search engines.
Man,
Yeah, I
okay.
mean, for me, the issue was like if you try Googling Pablo Rivera art, you either get Diego Rivera, the artist, or
Yeah.
Pablo Picasso. So
Or,
it's just like,
there's also
There's
Paulo Rivera, right? Paulo,
yeah.
the comic
Wait,
artist.
did I tell you the story about how this guy on Facebook whose art I like, he added me after, he saw that I've been liking his work and we were chatting for a bit. And he's just like, I'm like, dude, I love your work. He's like, no, man, I love yours. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, I like the Marvel covers you did. I'm like, oh, I'm thinking of Paulo Rivera.
This is
ah,
Pablo Rivera. Anyone that was listening to this and thought we had Paulo Rivera on,
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
sorry,
sorry to
that wasn't him.
disappoint.
It wasn't
yeah.
him.
This guy's way cooler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Paulo might be really cool though. He might be way cooler than Pablo. I
This is
haven't
true.
met
I
him.
know. You met him either.
If
One
he
day,
ends
maybe.
up being cooler than you, we're gonna drop you from this group.
Yeah.
Upgrade.
You're gonna upgrade to Apollo from a Pablo.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll just have to
More
see if we
vowels.
get like a podcast going or something and some kind of like guests thing or
Maybe. I'm
that
not
would be
afraid
kind
to
of cool
talk to
too.
people.
Yeah.
I'll, I'll
Ask
see
all
who I can
kinds of
get on.
questions.
Anyway, thank y'all for
All
joining
right.
me.
Yeah,
And you
cool,
can
man.
find my work as usual at www.mciii.net, facebook.com/iiimciii, or youtube.com/mike086. So, if you don't know where to find me, find the links on the thing. I'll talk to y'all later. Carlton, I'll see you later today.
Okay, man.
I'm going to
Yeah,
hang
no.
up now. Goodbye. Thanks for
All
joining.
right. Later, Pablo.
See you guys.
Ending that call. Let's see here. I'm going to put some outro music on for everybody because I like to make this as much of a production as humanly possible. You just got to watch me do it because I don't have two screens. So one of these days I'll get two screens and it'll be way better. It'll be way better. Oh crap, where'd my Photoshop go? Here we go. Naturally, I cannot turn off my mic because Broadcaster sucks. Thanks again for joining. I'll be online again later. Probably, I might just come out with some music sometime later. I gotta save this video. It'll be on YouTube if you missed it. Thanks for joining one last time.